or is Kevin coaching for his job? In so many ways, yes, Ross Tucker said, this is the first time he's really felt that he's making a decision on the hot seat. Look, you hear Wyatt Teller yesterday. That's audio from the Cleveland Browns preview show yesterday. I interviewed Wyatt, always one of my favorite guys to talk to. I think that Kevin, we just had this big conversation. You didn't debate me. We agreed with each other, right, about the ego thing? I think that this is a move to try to keep the team from giving up on the season. I don't think that this is a move for Kevin to try to make himself look good to the rest of the league and to the rest of the fans and everything going, hey, it's really not my fault. I think right now I think he's got a team on the brink. Okay? Just from what I observe, I think from what you guys observe, you see, the Friday press conferences with Miles, some of these things, I think he's got a team on the brink. I think he has a defense right now that is getting close to Bengals, Chase Brown on their defense from the offense in Cincinnati. I think he's got a defense that's getting close to having enough and there being a dividing line in the locker room. I can't share much more. I think that right now this is a decision that he's made going, I think the defense is representing the offense. Let's see what he does with them and see if this offense can't get going. Because he knows, I think everybody knows, that this defense, how could you not resent him? You're out there constantly. You're in this constant bend but don't break. You're bound to break at some point here. Someone's eventually, you can't keep the Wolves down forever. You're put in not great situations. Now you're turning the ball over a bit. And so you have a defense that's getting very angry. And so, all right, maybe I am the problem. Maybe I'm not seeing the situation right now. So let's bring Tommy here. We'll put Tommy in charge of the offense. We'll see. Not to take the heat off of Kevin, but to get the offense started in some fashion. Again, ego ain't the word. But you have a defense right now that's, guys, I think they're just as pissed over everything as you guys are. How could you not be? So, Tone, maybe you see it differently. I think I got a defense looking at the head coach. They are not happy with that guy, and he's an offensive guy. And when you're calling the plays, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing some of these things?
I think if you're the defense, I always wonder the dynamic in situations like this because when we see, it's always Myles Garrett. Everybody's always like, pay attention to Myles Garrett when we're allowed in the locker room. When are we allowed in the locker room? After wins, right? I'm talking about the fans.
Okay.
We get to see the victory speeches. And you always look at Myles Garrett, and it just doesn't seem like he's that engaged. Now, maybe that's his way of, after a game, kind of debriefing and, that could be his
decompressing.
Decompressing, yeah. That could be just his style, like whatever. But everybody always points it out. They're like, oh, he's rolling his eyes as Kevin's trying to be tough guy Kevin, after a game, or real excited Kevin. I always wonder in a situation like this where the defensive room, like Jim Schwartz and those guys, like those defensive players, what do they think? Like when there's the big team meeting or the big walkthrough and the coach is holding court, but it's an offensive guy. And every team has to deal with that because you're either an offensive guy or a defensive guy with a few occasions where it's a special teams guy like John Harbaugh. Like it's always one or the other. And so that other unit, especially if they're the successful unit, are they just paying no mind to that guy? Or are they like, no, he's a leader of men. He's the leader of the team. We still are kind of engaged in everything he's saying. I just don't know. We just don't hear a lot. We don't hear a lot when it comes to how they react to Kevin Stefanski in that locker room.
I think that you have a lot of guys that, again, these are decisions that you look at some of these things. People don't just sit there and say, oh, I think Bailey Zappi's going to be the backup. Guys like me say it. But some of these, the Zach Jacksons of the world, they don't just say things. You got follow those tea leaves, guys. And so I think you can look at a defense going, well, wait a minute, who's really in charge here? Who's going to do this here? And so now you got a defense that's playing its ass off almost every single game, trying to hold out every single game. And then you look over, you go, we're doing what with who? Could you imagine being on that bench, getting ready to go out there and go, we're doing this with Gage on third down, we're going to do this? Okay, fine, whatever.
Or
strap up, here we go again.
Elephant in the room is who the quarterback is.
And who the quarterback is.
Like, the guys, the defense, there are reps where they go up against the quarterbacks, and it's kind of supposed to be a real simulation, 11 on 11, and they know which quarterbacks stink and who not to have faith in.
Again, what's your name? What's your title? You're the head coach of the football team. I ain't playing victim here. If anybody's got to stand up, it's got to be you. There ain't no victimization here with Kevin Stefanski. Hey, you're the one who's got to answer for this. You're the one who should say something. If you see something terrible, you got to be able to say something about it, because we're looking for some leadership somewhere. We are at an all-time low in the terms of our trust with the leadership here. I got a guy who lives in San Diego. We don't know what he does, and he only comes around at the beginning of the year and when things are good. How many times have I said that? I got another general manager for the first time in 6 years, ain't talking to the media. Now all of a sudden you're the one who's got to go out there and answer for some of these things? Where, again, if you just look at the tea leaves, you got to answer for the trade? Everybody was surprised. Mike Tomlin talking about it. And go and listen to those audios. Go listen to those clips. Go listen to some of the insiders and what Mike Tomlin meant about that. Okay. All right. And you're the one who's been put in that situation. And it's a bad situation. But the effort to keep everything calm is still getting nuts. And so maybe it will be time for somebody to say something. Maybe it will be time for Kevin to say something. And he's telling you as much as he can. But he ain't going to say it all. And he's looking at it going, this move with Tommy Rees is telling you guys, maybe I'm losing grip on this thing. Maybe I am. Boomer Esiason was on yesterday. He was talking about this. Everybody's been talking about that. Like, it's starting to come to fruition. And I think Browns fans are looking at everybody going, yeah, where you been? Where you been since last year? This is unmitigated. So where have you guys all been? The excuse making and things like this. None of this is an excuse. Because I think right now, if he was looking for ego and if he were looking for people to be on his side, hell, now might be the time. But you can't throw your players publicly under the bus because it might not be their fault. Who knows? Maybe for all we know, look about this. I don't think that he really wanted Shedeur to be the backup. Shedeur might have been just fine. No, Shedor's going to be the backup. We don't know. So why am I going to make Shedeur out to be the bad guy? If I were Kevin Stefanski, that defeats the purpose because I'm still the head coach and he's going to play at some point. So now I can't make the fans think that all of a sudden something bad's going on when he goes out on the field. Here's Boomer on the entire situation yesterday.
I am a fan of Kevin. I think if he does get fired, I think back to draft day. Okay, they got Dylan Gabriel in the third round, and then obviously we're all sitting there wondering what's going on with Shedeur. And then when the Browns take Shedeur Sanders, and I kind of looked at his face, and I know Kevin a little bit. I don't know enough to interpret all facial expressions, but I think we all are human beings, and we see that face and that look, and it didn't look like he was very happy about all of this, and because it creates distraction and it creates conversation, I guess, which is great for those of us who work in our world, but for the coach who wants to keep everything in-house, wants to keep things tight, and now all of a sudden you have all these outside influences coming in and distracting your football team, it never works. So I would probably say I would lean towards they're probably going to move away. I would just say just by the longevity of losing, the decisions that have been made, and some of them have not been his fault, but I don't know how they would bring him back along. Like, that's the same thing I'm saying right now about Brian Daboll in New York. I feel the same way. Too much losing, too much change, and the fan base will speak loudly, and so will the sponsors, and that's when the owner will end up pulling the plugs on these coaches.
Boomer Esiason has seen it a million times. He's been a part of it a million times. I couldn't agree more with him. You can't help but agree because he's telling you just the truth and how it goes.
He just casually threw in the sponsors, which is probably a small thing to fans. It is a gigantic thing to the actual organization.
It's the same thing as the boosters in college football.
It's such a big deal. You guys, I say you have no idea. I'm sure when you're hearing it, you're probably like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. That's money. It's actual money. But what yesterday, there was a thread going around, and from time to time, these pop-ups, I kind of roll my eyes. But yesterday, one of the bigger Cleveland social media accounts, I'll give you guys credit. I got to find it, who it is. But they started asking people, like, when is enough going to be enough? And we get that question every losing season, once or twice throughout the year. When are fans just going to give up and do something else or move to another team? And, our job is to keep people engaged no matter what their record is. So we roll our eyes at that stuff.
Was that more for UCLA?
Was it?
I thought it was.
Okay.
So were we tagged in it?
Yeah, we were definitely tagged in it.
Because was that during our conversation we had around 9 o'clock
Kenny,
yesterday?
I feel
took a right turn.
Yes, I feel like I've gotten 1,000 tweets about it.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who claim apathy. Now, it's one thing to claim it, another thing to actually follow up on it. But if you have another losing season, and this year it's like 3-14, or if you get a humiliating defeat, which is what this would be. If they lose to the Jets, guys, this is absolutely humiliating, bottom of the barrel
That's
stuff.
your ass.
Then what Boomer just said is right. Like, they're going to fire the coach. I don't care what kind of ringing endorsement these guys get or how reluctant they are to move and go through a hiring process. It just doesn't matter. They're just going to fire the coach.
And if you didn't step in there and take power where it could have been taken, then I'm sorry. It's going to fall on you. It's your Wikipedia page by the time it's all said and done. I can't make you out to be the victim. It can't be done. And to illustrate this, and this is where I think that Tommy Rees is an olive branch to the defense here, changing things up. Like you hear Wyatt Teller, you hear David Njoku. I'm surprised David Njoku's talking in such ways. Now, I don't know how it's all going to shake out at the end of this offseason, right? But good God, when you have David Njoku talking to the media here.
I'm in Cleveland, baby. I'm not going nowhere. I ain't leaving.
So it's still the last year of your contract. Is it open that
I'm not leaving.
Ever?
So you don't want to leave?
No.
Okay. Do you think you can work something out that you're here beyond this year?
I hope so, yeah.
Do you know if extension talks started at all or not?
I can't say. Hey, yo, let me get that case.
The second time, you're trying to get my case.
It's nice. I'm so happy, man. I don't know how to put it. I'm so happy. For real, I'm serious.
Did they tell you before or like leading up to?
Listen, dog, I found out the same way you found out at 4 p.m. yesterday. I'm here. Okay. I ain't leaving, okay?
David, are you happy?
I'm happy as hell.
And then when Wyatt Teller says all this.
Yeah, I feel like my wife has been telling me the last, 8 weeks. There's been trade rumors. Thank God I'm still in Cleveland. I think yesterday around 4 p.m., my wife was like, Wyatt, we're good. She came into the room, we're good. And I was like, what? I wasn't even thinking about it. She was. So it's more stressful, obviously, because I have to pick up and go and stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's stressful on me. But at the end of the day, I'm going to follow the path that is thrown at me. And if that's getting traded, that's getting traded. I don't want to get traded, and I'm happy I didn't. I'm happy I'm in Cleveland and hopefully get a, re-signing and, be here for the rest of my career.
The offense is still with Kevin. The defense is about to lose their minds and about to blow their stack. So I think that this is an olive branch to the defense going, let's try something different here. Let's get another set of eyes on this. He's the younger guy. He's been working with the backups. I've had to try to get guys who are better suited to start the season, and then they're trading them away from me, and then I have to go out there and answer for it because the general manager won't say anything. But that's beside the point there. And by the way, you hear me in the background. That's a real laugh. That's not the Jeremy Piven laugh. This guy is actually doing nice things, not, whatever. Sorry. No offense to Jeremy Piven. I'm just pointing out what's real and what's not.
I'm curious. It is just, it's so surprising when somebody like Njoku says it like that. Like I know he's got a business.
He's asked for a trade twice.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. And I mean, he has a business here, whatever. Tito has a business here and he's no longer. It's just.
He was also asking for trades when he wasn't. I mean, I kind of scoffed at his, is he one of the best tight ends in franchise? He's second in yards. He's gonna be first, at some point if he stays here.
This is despite the fact they drafted his clear replacement.
Right.
He's a good player. His stature would honestly, if they would actually have success, sustained success, his stature would be bigger. That's it. Like, he's not George Kittle, and there's a lot of guys he's not. But if they were a successful football team, he would be a much bigger name, and people would like him a lot more. I think fans would like him. I don't think they like him as much as they like some other guys here over the last decade, but I think they like him. And he's made his home here. A lot of these guys have. And the offensive guys, they seem to be down still with Kevin and down with trying to figure this thing out. But you can tell the defense, they're not feeling the same way. And I think that this is trying to reach out to the defense going, okay, let's see if this guy who's been working with the backups, and we're going to be playing the backups, maybe he knows him better.